Hi, and welcome to SynthPop Tutorials. My name is Anders, and in this series I would like to give you a little insight on how to make catchy retro-style pop music. If you're new to my channel, we're talking the best of what the 80s and the 90s had to offer us in synth-based pop music. In this episode we'll have a look at the remix I did for a friend of mine, Espen Kraft. You may already have seen some of his work, but if not, you should definitely check him out afterwards. The song is from a video he made about the AKAI S612 Sampler. Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, let's have a look at Espen's original. What are the key components and what's the drive of the song? I was immediately hooked by the melody line on top of the open chord structure. Espen plays a 4-5-1 in C major, but instead of landing on a C in the bass, he lands on an E, which makes it the first inversion. This creates an unresolved but yet familiar feeling. On the second run of the chord structure, he lands on the C major with the C in the bass, which gives a complete cycle. On songs like this, I usually start with the drums and lay down a solid beat to work on top of. And first we need to find some proper drum samples. My sample library has over the years grown quite big, but you don't need an extensive library to get started. On this song I'm using the 80s retro drummer from Sennheiser, which is a complete kit so you don't need anything else. Let's have a listen to the basic beat that I built for this song. I usually put every sample on different channels with different volume levels. This way I can accentuate different hits just like a normal drummer would have. I also doubled the bass drum with another sample to give it a little more meat. The snares always go to a second channel in the mixer, that way I can treat it with some extra reverb. Next up is the hi-hat, and those I usually play on my Yamaha XS7. I know that Espen usually prefers an 8-beat rhythm, but I found that the 16-beat alternating rhythm helped the bounciness of the song. I also added some of my signature percussion sounds. It's from a song called Cloud9 by Paul Keeley. Let's hear how this works with the previous beat that we made. Now it's time to add Espen's signature claps and rim shots. And this is how it all ties together. Let's move on to the bass. Now, Espen's song didn't actually have a bass on this part, so my idea was to take the bass and how he plays the bass on the verse and the choruses and apply this here. And for this part I took out the Nexus 2 and the synthwave expansion with a sound called Parker. Most likely a reference to Robert Parker, a famous synthwave musician. I often like to double some of the bass lines with an electric bass from the Motif rack. Next up is the chord section. This is also Nexus 2 with a sound called June Poly. Most likely something from Roland, Juno 106 or something. As you can hear, I have deviated quite a bit from Espen's original pattern. This is partly because I started doing this before I got the stem mixes from him. But at the same time, this pattern actually fit the song as well. It consists of 3 layers, the synth, the steel drum part and the FM brass. And lastly we have come to the melody part, the bells. This is an internal sound from the XS7, J-Pop. Layered with this DX bell pad and the next one called the Florida Keys from Nexus 2. And then it sounds like this in the total mix. So, with all the basic elements in place, it was quite simple to lay down the rest of the tracks, like the strings. Espen's original verse was just bass, drums and his vocals alone. But I felt that a soft pad in the background and then some slight DX piano from the TX81 set and TX816 would add nicely to the mix. Of course we need a proper intro, so I took the part from the main hook and repeated the chords. A very common trick is to use filters on pads and everything and then gradually open them. The drums are also heavily compressed as well as filtrated. Another thing I added was the bridge after the verses before we go back to the choruses. And here I could bring in the steel drums again and basically just create a nice segue into the next part. And lastly, I just want to show you a little bit from the Counterpoint. The driving bass line from the JV880 and the square wave arpeggio from the XB80. So after I got these stem mixes from Espen, I isolated all the vocals and put them on separate tracks.
Why so shy? Tell me why.
To make the chorus line a little bit thicker, I doubled it with a chorus.
Why so shy? Tell me why.
And because we're doing 80s pop, we need a lot of reverb.
Why so shy? Tell me why. While I kiss you.
Some delay is also mandatory.
Why so shy? Tell me why. while I kiss you.
In terms of intonation and pitch, Espen is already pretty accurate, but I just nudged it a little bit here and there to get that final polish.
Take it out on me if you want to. I don't care if it hurts. I said I wanted more than a little maybe. So baby, take off my shirt right now.
As you know, this part of Espen's song didn't have any vocals at all, but my idea was to take the vocals from the chorus and reharmonize them. I could also make the main line sing the same melody as the bells.
Why so shy?
Of course, the end result is a little bit excessive autotune, but mixed together and with the rest of the instruments, it sounds pretty okay.
Why so shy?
That's the second voice, and here is the third voice.
Why so shy?
Combined together, you get this result.
Why so shy? While I kiss you. Why so shy? Tell me why. Oh, I miss you.
I also had this idea that I could sample segments of Espen's voice and play around with it to make this kind of synthetic voice. To do that, I used the Phalanx from Vengeance Sound. It's actually a drum sampler, but I find it useful for this purpose as well. First off, this is the original phrase that I'm using.
Why so shy?
Now let's find a more suitable place to start. Then we add some more delay and chorus. And of course a lot of reverb. And this is how it sounds in the final mix. And after that, it was just a matter of fine-tuning, polishing, mixing, and doing everything that we need to do to make it sound right. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it informative and entertaining, and I hope you liked the results.
Get out on me if you want to.